So let me ask you something. What if the biggest threat to your company's growth was the growth itself? And what if the real key to unlocking sustainable success wasn't some new sales tactic, but your safety and compliance plan? Today, we're going to dive into how you can turn risk from a liability into your most powerful competitive advantage.
Okay, let's really get into this. Every single business out there is laser focused on growth, right? More sales, new markets, bigger teams, the whole 9 yards. But in that constant push forward, it is so easy to overlook the hidden dangers that are coming right along for the ride. So are you actually building on solid ground? Or is your growth strategy missing its most crucial foundational piece?
All right, let's start with an idea that might sound a little backward at first. The very act of growing your business, the thing you're working so hard for, it actually introduces a whole new set of complex dangers. And these dangers can completely undermine all that hard work if you're not ready for them.
Think about it this way. As your company scales, your exposure to risk doesn't just add up, it multiplies. Every new employee, every new product, every new supplier, each one represents a potential point of failure if it's not managed proactively. It's kind of like a bridge. The longer it gets, the more structural support it needs to avoid collapsing under its own weight. Well, unmanaged growth makes your business vulnerable in the exact same way. So, where exactly are these vulnerabilities hiding? To make this really concrete, we can break down this big abstract idea of risk into 3 core areas. Let's take a look at where you really need to be focusing your attention as you expand. First up, your people. It makes sense. As you bring more team members on board, keeping a consistent and effective health and safety culture becomes exponentially harder. And this isn't just about protecting your employees, which, of course, is always the #1 priority. It's also about protecting the continuity of your entire operation. An unsafe workplace is an unstable one, period. Next up, the stuff you actually make and sell. As you innovate and expand your product line, you are also navigating an increasingly complex web of regulations. This leads to what the source material calls a new product safety regime. Basically, it means the standards for what's considered safe are always evolving and, frankly, getting a lot tougher. Meeting these requirements is absolutely critical for keeping customer trust and, let's be honest, for even being allowed to sell your products in the first place. And finally, we have your partners. You can have the most perfect internal processes in the world, but if your suppliers aren't meeting those same high standards, their weakness becomes your liability. A single weak link in that supply chain can compromise your product quality, your operational standards, and ultimately, your brand's reputation. Okay, so we've identified the dangers that are lurking just beneath the surface of success. So the natural question is, what do you do about it? How do you fight back? This is where we shift from being reactive to being strategic. This is where we turn a potential headache into a powerful plan for building a much stronger business. Now, the foundation of this entire strategy is a really robust and continuous risk assessment process. It's a simple 4-step loop. First, you actively identify potential hazards. Second, you assess just how serious those risks are. Third, you implement effective controls to manage them. And fourth, and this is the part people so often forget, you constantly monitor and review, because your business is always changing. This has to be a living process, not some one-and-done checklist you file away. Now, a key part of the strategy is getting a handle on what's called the new product safety regime. It's so important to see this as more than just new bureaucracy. It's a direct response to a world with more complex global supply chains, new technologies, and honestly, much higher consumer expectations for safety. Understanding and integrating these updated rules into your process is totally non-negotiable for market access and for building that essential customer trust. And that brings us right back to your supply chain. This question on the slide is the exact one you need to be asking your suppliers, because their readiness is your readiness. It's not enough for you to be compliant. Your entire value chain has to be on board. You've got to be partners in safety, not just partners in commerce. So, after all this work on assessment and compliance, what's the payoff? Well, the crucial point here is that this isn't just about avoiding fines or penalties. When we do this right, it's about building a fundamentally stronger and more resilient business. This is where we see a complete shift in mindset. This slide just lays out the difference perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way. It's reactive. Compliance is seen as a burden, a cost center that you just have to minimize. But on the right, that's the strategic approach. It's proactive. Safety is viewed as a smart investment that actually enables and protects your growth. And what's the ultimate reward for making this strategic shift? Well, it's right here. First, it supports sustainable growth by giving you a rock-solid foundation to build on.
Second, it maintains and even deepens customer trust. And third, it actively strengthens your competitive position. A safe, reliable company is a brand customers believe in and a partner that others really want to work with. So all of this brings us to one final, and I think a really powerful question for you to think about when it comes to your own organization.
So I'll leave you with this. As you plan your company's future, just ask yourself this. Is your approach to risk and safety just a line item on a budget, a cost to be managed? Or is it a powerful engine actively driving your company's growth and securing its success for the long haul? The answer to that question could really define everything that comes next.